Morning all, Tony here. Monday morning. It's a bit breezy, so hopefully you can still hear me with the wind. And I said we would do some more of these videos. I'm a little bit out of breath. We've been walking up the hill. You can see behind me, it's a little bit choppy. But anyway, so we had another question in, and this question from, actually two questions. One was, why don't you name the person who's emailed in the question? So I'm going to do that this time. So this question comes from Haley. Hello, Haley, and thank you for your question. So the question was this: something around self-preservation and boundaries, setting boundaries for ourselves, and that's very, very important to have some kind of boundaries. And really, boundaries are around creating an environment where we're healthy, we have balance between all of the things that we need to do and want to do. But also it's about outcomes. It's about knowing where we're going in life and having some idea of a plan. So sometimes you got to say no to things because other things are more important. Now, the question, of course, then comes, well, how do I decide what I should say yes to? I'm just going to stand over here slightly out of the wind a little bit more. What things should I say yes to? What things should I say no to? Well, there's a kind of a grid, if you like, about what's important, what's not important, what's going to take a lot of time, what would be quick wins, as it were. And it's worth it, maybe at the beginning of every week, like today, it's Monday morning. Okay, what's going to happen this week? What am I going to focus on? And there's a kind of a myth that built up over, I think probably began to happen from the late 90s and into the noughties, about saying yes to everything, and kind of overwhelming yourself with tasks and demands on your time and indeed your money and your resources. So saying no and having that boundary is important. So what another way of thinking about boundaries is this going to help me? And I don't mean that in a selfish way. It can help me to either help other people or to further my business interests or my team or my company, or just me, socially and my family. If yes, maybe then there's time to do it. If not, maybe not so much. If we work in a large organization, it's easy to start getting sucked into so many things that after a while you just have no time at all to yourself to do your actual job. If you're like me, you're self-employed, you can end up saying yes to so many things that there's no time to do anything. So having that boundary, saying, right, this is this far and no further. And another thing to do, sort of mini strategy, if you will, is to block out time. So as an example, Doug and I, we have certain times of the week that we don't sit in front of our computers, we don't sit in the office, we get out into the countryside, even on a fairly blustery day like today, and have some downtime and away from work. That sort of self-preservation is a key outcome in being able to be more productive in the future. So Haley, that's my answer to you about what are boundaries and how does that work in relation to outcomes. Be clear about your outcome, have all of the strategy in place, and have that balance. Have that balance. Now, one of those things that we always talk about in NLP, of course, is logical levels, the Robert Dilts model. And you just think about my environment, where do I want to be, what kind of behaviors, and all the ways right up to who you are, the identity. And that's the important thing. Remember who you are. And because if you're not clear about who you are, it's not possible really to help anybody else, grow, prosper, or anything like that. So if you're interested in more about coaching and setting well-formed outcomes, or logical levels, NLP, and all the practical tools that come with NLP training, give us a shout. We'll be starting our brand new NLP practitioner and indeed master practitioner if you're already a practitioner at the end of this month. Get in touch, and I'm happy to answer any more questions. So generally, if you've got any more questions about personal development, get in touch and we'll do another video. Let's have another look at the sea behind me. There you go. It's pretty choppy today, but it's still very beautiful. And actually, if I just go around here, you'll see the sky behind me is absolutely gorgeous. The sun's coming through the clouds. It really, really is really lovely. Okie dokie. Take care, guys. Have a great week. Bye for now.